our brain learn things. I am very passionate about learning and figure out a way to teach that it can sync to each person. And we all go through, technically it's three stage, from a research named Fit Posner, stage of motor learning. That's from 1967. And I wanted to use mountain biking and my other favorite summer activity, gardening. So, what are those four stage of learning? So, we'll use an example. You're brand new into mountain biking. We all been there, or we're getting there. And we cycle before, we know how to bike, we've used brake, we know how to use brake when we're biking. And then you show up and you go on your first mountain bike ride and you go in and you see something on the trail and then you start braking and then somehow you just explode it. You're on the trail. Ouch. Then you go into a lesson. And the first thing the teacher's talking about is about, okay, you need to use one finger to brake and modulate your brakes. So you squeeze a little bit, you let it go a little bit, so get the feel of those brake. First, you were the seed. You were unconscious, incompetent. You were the seed. I had no clue you could become a flower. Have no clue where to go. And then you go into the lesson, and suddenly that's the bud. Conscious incompetence. What does that mean? It's basically you're starting to get awareness of what you don't know. And then you're starting to know what you need to do. So as you're learning and you're practicing the braking on the trail, it's going to be very inconsistent. You're going to have to remind yourself all the time. And basically, it's going to come with mileage. You're going to need to get out, go practice, go remind yourself. It takes a lot of brain power. And it's why it's so tiring. You're doing something potentially super simple. But for you, your brain is thinking about all the little things that has to happen at that moment. And we all have a different learning pace. So you're going to need to put a bunch of mileage to be able to become a flower, right? That bud's going to need some sun, some rain, and some nice warm temperature. And sometimes we have different conditions. So one seed may not grow the buds may not grow as fast as the other. But let's say we passed that stage and we finally became a flower. That's the conscious competence. So you're conscious, you need to remind yourself what to do, and you're pretty consistent at it. You're not always doing it perfectly, but you know what to do. And now it's like refinement. So if you're taking a lesson, you're going to refine maybe the timing of when you're braking. Maybe it's going to add some technicality over the routes. So it's going to still be a bit mechanical, but you're going to have way more consistency. Then the next stage is when you're spreading the seeds. So we're going to start having seedling everywhere. And the name is the unconscious competence. So at that point, you're riding your mountain bike, and you're squeezing the brake, you're only releasing the brake, and you're not even thinking about it. It just happened. You're seeing your roots, let go of the brake, and then take it back. It's a bit like a kid that was walking. So, when you're starting walking, you're going through all those steps. Now these days, you're not thinking about, I'll put my right foot forward and my left foot forward. You're just walking. So that is the unconscious competence, spreading the seed. Also named sometime where we go to the flow state. So just, again, you're just in the moment and you're doing the thing without thinking about mechanically how to do it. And the cool thing about this is that we're always moving from those stages, right? You can always add something. The day you're going to try to learn wheel lift, and you're going to learn how to jump and doing drops. And then maybe you'll add complexity onto like a bigger jump. So while we're talking about that, is just important to understand how our brain work with those learning and being patient that you may need to talk to yourself through it much more. You need some mileage. And sometimes, we stay on the stage too for a long time. I think about my bunny hop. Oh my goodness. I've been practicing for 8 years. And I'm pretty sure I'm still a bud and maybe getting towards a flower, because I still need to, okay, I'm going to load and then I'm going to do all those steps. So I have to remind myself all those steps. So it's not, there's not of a time frame of how we're going to move through those steps, but being patient and practice will always be the key things for you. So get out there, practice, be nice to yourself. And if you're wondering why things you understand and you're like, hey, I understand what I have to do, but I just can't make my body do it, well, you're probably still the bud. And you just need to keep practicing and playing and exploring different ways of doing it so you can move to the next stage. I hope that's helpful to understand how we learn. If you have questions, comment below.